As the country battles the second COVID wave, Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, along with Kranti and Pran Kavach, has been helping people relentlessly. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran.
Hello and welcome. You're joining us on our special show, NewsX Second Wave Superheroes. Today we have with us Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran. He's a veteran and he recently has left the Air Force and founded his own company, Q-Gates Technologies. Welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Manjri. It's a pleasure to be and share the work and the thought process that we have to see this country of this pandemic. Thank you very much.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about your company and about Pran Kavach and Kranti. What exactly it is and what is the main idea behind it?
Yeah. I'll not get into what the company is about. There are that people who are interested in this, they can go directly. We will quickly come into what Kranti is all about, right? And Pran Kavach, which is relevant for this show. So before covering Pran Kavach, it is better that I cover what Kranti stands for. So Kranti is an acronym. It was coined from multiple words, which is knowledge, resource, analytics, networks, technology, innovation, and integration. Right? So this is what Kranti stands for. This was founded by another colleague of mine, who's a veteran, Wing Commander Satyam Kushwaha. And he is an ex-Jaguar pilot of the IAF. Right? So he left Air Force again, and Kranti was founded in the year 2016. Right? It was founded as a think tank group based out of an online messenger channel. And today, if you ask me, Kranti has something like 54 team groups. And it is focused on nation building and safeguarding national interests. The Kranti groups are designed to undertake a multidisciplinary 360-degree analysis of national issues, including impact assessment, as well as have an inclusive approach so that nobody is left behind. Okay. Now, what is Pran Kavach? Pran Kavach was initiated by me personally last year in March 2020. Right? The motto of Pran Kavach is Digital Shield for Life. So whenever there is a pandemic, we all are aware that the healthcare infrastructure will be directly targeted. Now, if you create a digital armor, a digital layer before that, it can protect the healthcare infrastructure in a lot of ways. The doctors will not be targeted directly. The exchanges with the communication interfaces will not be targeted directly. There's a lot of optimization that we can do through technology. So this was the idea behind which Pran Kavach was established. And the main aim was to deploy a state-of-the-art digital ecosystem to again converge, unify, and optimize this war against the pandemic. Its aim is to strengthen the Indian healthcare system through a robust platform that would ensure inclusion of all sections of the society, irrespective of class, creed, and literacy. Right? Even if you're an illiterate, you must be able to access the digital ecosystem. That's our endeavor. It aims to deliver a step-by-step guideline to patients and address any health situation through advanced intelligence embedded solution. Right? So as part of that, we created a real-time information dissemination system, which we feel is very much the requirement for the day. I will speak about it subsequently. So this is what it is all about. And Pran Kavach, in short, is the solution framework for the vision, aim, objective, and focus.
Right. So tell us is it been during the COVID times? Like what is the work that is being done via these platforms, and how many people are coming together and how is it being done?
Yeah. So if you ask me about the statistics and the numbers, Kranti as a group of 54 group has got around 700 plus members, right? Very senior members. members who have connect across the ecosystem, right? 700. 300 plus volunteers have joined us, and they come from the Lady Shri Ram College, then the Kalini, RRU, and the GDMC, right? So these volunteers are mostly operating out of messenger groups, and data is collated using Excel sheets, right? So we use these volunteers, reach out to hospitals, ambulances, oxygen cylinders, right? We collect the data, we maintain that data, and whoever reaches us on a first come first service basis, irrespective of anything, it's purely a voluntary service. So that's how we are connecting to people. And even within this, you must understand we come from a certain defense background. And military has a way of operation. There is a method in any madness also that we follow. So we have put the same practices here. Like, for example, the 300 volunteers are segregated into oxygen groups, bed groups, equipments, ambulances, blood plasma groups, right? So any request that comes, a front end takes it, it passes to a back end, the back end processes it. We try to give them as good an information as possible, right? And address their requirement. So in terms of numbers, if you ask me what have we addressed, we have approximately received around 1,200 cases in the last 30 days or so. Okay, 30 to 40 days or so. Yes. And we have met around 750 requirements of people who have been stranded on the road, who didn't have any connect, who were desperately looking for various requests. And as I speak to you, around 75 of them are live monitored. When I say that the 750 we have given support, I have to tell you there is something different that this group does, because I am being part of multiple other groups also. It is not about giving you a telephone number and asking you to fend for yourself. We actually get the ambulance. So whatever is required to see you through till you reach your house, right? Till you reach a safe haven. So there is a doctor on call who will probably even advise you as to what is to be done. There is a counselor who probably peps up the morale of the family, because most of them, the moment today is diagnosed by COVID, they get panicked, right? So we have ladies, housewives, right, who can do that job. So we connect to them 1:1, and nights 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all these members are awake, and each and every one of them, somebody looks at the map. What is the time it will take to reach the hospital? Is there sufficient oxygen in the cylinder so that midway we don't end up in a crisis, right? So that's the level of involvement that these people are doing. And actually speaking, there are continuous live chats which go through multiple groups to converge and take a patient, right? So it's been a very liberating kind of an experience, and that's how it has been.
Right. So tell us, how is the second wave much different from the first wave, in terms of the SOS calls that have been received? And, initially last year we had the lockdown, but then this time the situation is much, much severe, right? So how is it, tell us, how is it different?
Actually, I started foreseeing this pandemic February 2020, because India didn't have even a single case at that time.
Hardly.
So that was the time that Pran Kavach was conceived. Okay, I talk about Pran Kavach more than Kranti because there is a reason for that, I'll tell you. When it was conceived, we were doing data modeling. I was part of an international community trying to assess the pandemic trend set in Europe and US. And then I realized that we have to look at our country also, because being such a big country. And when I looked at our country, if we hadn't had the lockdown, right, we'd have been knocked big time in the very first punch. Right? That's where, when we looked at, we didn't have any kind of infrastructure whatsoever. People didn't know what a mask is. People didn't know what a sanitizer is, how to use it, what is social distancing. People have tried to explain all these things then, right? Nobody would have understood. So that's where the lockdown helped. And when the lockdown helped, a lot of people went, they didn't know what to do, right? So When I gave a call on my LinkedIn, there was something like 8,000 responses. Right? Out of that, 500, 600 were four hardcore professionals, the best in their business, IITians. Right? They came together and we stitched this complete solution framework so that we give a digital response. So last year it was about contact tracing, it was about bringing PPE kits, it's about masks, it was about sanitizers, right? And people who were getting admitted also, it was not that bad as it is this year. So even when this pandemic started receding, we realized that, okay, the government is on a certain course. We didn't want to go against that. And therefore, we were in course alignment. And then we started getting on with our lives. So much so that gradually systems started unlocking and we started celebrating premature. When we came into the second wave, like in April, the whole system was caught unaware. Because I was continuing to be in the business of data science and modeling and stuff like that, and I was in close contact with IIT Kanpur, the Sutra model in which they did predict somewhere in March that the second wave was coming. But even the government took it lightly because they thought the worst is over. There could be a potential second wave. They never expected it to reach such unprecedented levels.
Right. So thank you so much for the detailed, solution basis. It's a very detailed, very long one, and thank you so much for that. And thank you for the work that is being done.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.